Hello, everyone. My name is Edward Melvin. I'm running to become the next Guilford County Sheriff. Little bio about myself. I served 7 years in the United States Air Force as a military police right out of high school. I joined the North Carolina State Highway Patrol in 1989. I stayed in that position as a state trooper for 24 years, where I retired right here in Guilford County in 2012. 2013, I began my highway maintenance company, where it is now a flourishing company, successful, and has a multi-million dollar annual budget. Why am I running for sheriff? Well, things are broken. You can see over the horizon, we have a dysfunctional sheriff's office. We have crime that's been spiking. It's out of this world. We have a sheriff that's created a toxic work environment at that sheriff's office. Something has to be done. I did serve a little time at the sheriff's office as chief deputy under the current sheriff, Danny Rogers. But after 11 weeks, I saw the direction he was taking this sheriff's office, and I couldn't take it any longer. I left a six-figure salary on the table. I resigned. I was never asked to leave. I was never told to leave. I did so willingly because the direction he was taking that sheriff's office, that he was putting those fine men and women through, I did not want to be a party of. The day that I resigned, a lot of deputies begged me not to go. They said, "Chief Melvin, can you please stay, please?" I promised them that I would not abandon them totally. I promised them I would return. So here I am. I'm returning, hopefully, to right the wrongs that's been done by this sheriff. Now, my platform is simple. There's four major platforms that I'm running under. One is gun rights. Currently, it takes almost a full year to receive your concealed carry permits. The standard right now is supposed to be around 6 weeks. Why is it taking a full year to receive a CCW? Well, the reason it's taking a full year is because we have a sheriff that don't believe in concealed carry. He don't believe in the Second Amendment rights. So my main platform is the Second Amendment. You have every right to carry a firearm. And I will see to it, if I'm elected sheriff, that you receive your concealed carry weapons permit, if qualified, within 6 weeks or less. The second thing I'm running on is your right to free speech. Have you not noticed that the parents speaking out of school board meetings, they are now targeted and labeled as domestic terrorists by our Attorney General, Merrick Garland? Merrick Garland can't do this alone. The Justice Department don't have enough officers to identify these parents who's speaking out about their children's education. So what do they depend on? They rely on local law enforcement to help them. So that includes the police departments, that includes the sheriff's office. I can assure you that if you're speaking out about your child's education, none of my officers, if I'm elected sheriff, will ever do anything to stop you. You have every right to speak out regarding your child's education. That is your responsibility. Your child depends on you to guide them and lead them into the right direction. And if you feel like something is wrong, come to those school board meetings. Speak out about what's going on. You will never be arrested. You will never be detained. Another thing I'm running on, speaking of schools, are the safety. It's dealing with the safety of the schools. Our schools are not safe. Right now, we have 2 to 3 officers that's, in some scenarios, that's patrolling construction equipment, stores, malls that might even be empty. But guess how many officers we have that's protecting 1,100, 1,200 students? One officer to 1,100, 1,200 students and faculty and staff. That is unacceptable. Why are we pinching pennies when it comes to the safety of our children? It's not, we don't need to do that. We can get the money, bring other officers into those schools, make those schools safe. The officers are not there to police the students. That's up to the faculty and staff. We're not there to control the students. We are there to protect those students. We're there to protect the faculty and the staff. I want to make sure those schools are safe. And the last platform that I'm running under is, of course, the sheriff's office. The men and women that work at the sheriff's office, the sworn officers, the non-sworn officers, and the civilians, they're not happy. They're under a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. They are almost being held hostage to some degree. They cannot go out and purchase a car. Why? Because they can be fired the next day. This sheriff does not follow policy, does not follow procedure. He will fire that deputy or that sheriff or demote him based on how he feels the next morning. That is no way to run a sheriff's office. If I'm elected sheriff, everything will be done through a procedure, through a process. No one will be fired, no one will be demoted just because either I have an issue with that person or I observed that person talking to the wrong person. That is not leadership. And I feel that we need and we have to do a better job, because what's happening right now is, because morale is so low at that sheriff's office, you have a lot of officers leaving. Now, this sheriff wants you to believe that they're leaving because the pay is not up to par, and we need to keep bringing up their pay. What he's in essence saying is that if you bring up their pay to a high enough setting, they can tolerate him more. They will say, well, the pay's so good, we can tolerate this sheriff. That's not the way it should work. The way it should work is you create a work-friendly environment, a stable work-friendly environment, and they will stay. We have a lot of officers now who've left that sheriff's office. They went to Alamance County, they took a cut in pay. They went to Rockingham County, they took a cut in pay. Forsyth County, cut in pay. Randolph County, same thing. They didn't leave because of the pay, they left because of the environment. The environment was so hostile, they couldn't take it any longer. He forced resignations, he forced early retirements to a lot of these officers, and a lot of these officers left. They couldn't take it any longer. So you can imagine all that experience, all that talent going out the door. And now you're left with him feverishly bringing up officers from the bottom to fill in these top vacancies. And sometimes there's cases where he's brought up officers from the very bottom and promoted them the next day to the very top. That is not leadership. That creates low morale, a lot of cases, no morale. When you promote like that, what do you tell those officers who actually participated in that promotional process, who studied? They kept their very clean profile. And just to see someone else who did not do those things get promoted past where they were.